So, welcome on our e-learning platform on behalf of GS College of Commerce Varna for BCCA 3rd SEM, and the subject is Business Economics. In earlier sessions, we have seen or we have started our unit 3 with theory of production. In that we have seen meaning of production, what is production function, okay, how it works, how the input, what is input and what is output. At the same time, how this production function works, what are the different formulas of production function, then production function given by Cobb and Douglas, that we have seen, that we have gone through with. And in last lecture, that is in yesterday's lecture, I have told you in detail regarding what is output, what is total product, what is marginal product and what is average product. Unless the concept of these three topics like marginal product, average product and total product is not clear for you, I cannot start, rather I cannot go ahead with the further topics. So I will just repeat what is total product, what is average product and what is marginal product. So what is total product? Total product means the total output, the end result of the input, whatever the inputs are used in the production process, and these inputs are land, labor, capital. Okay, with the help of these three inputs, the output is taken out. The total quantity of goods and services is produced, and that is simply is the total product. Means how much quantity of the production, how much total quantity of goods and services are produced for in that particular firm or industry. Okay, this is total product, right? Then average product, we have seen the concept of average product also. What is average product? Okay, as we have seen that what we have to study here, the law of variable proportion. Okay, now for that means in the production process, which kind of advantage a producer is getting or what kind of liberty he can utilize. The only thing is he can vary or he can make the proportionate change in labor or capital, that is input, and accordingly he can reduce his production time, he can reduce his capital, he can reduce his amount which is utilized for the use of production process. Means he can save, okay, the money can be saved in that production process while varying these two inputs. So finally it is a combination of input and output. The production, the end result is production, total quantities of goods and services are produced. Now how these are produced? Although you have utilized one kind of formula for the production, but in short run the producer, the manufacturer, he can make changes, he can make variations in these two kind of inputs, in these two kinds of factors of production. That is the only liberty he can use in this, that we have seen. For example, we have taken total quantity of output is 400 kgs, and for that total production the producer has used 25 labors, means that 25 labors were employed. Then what will be the average product? Okay, the average product will be 400 divided by 25 labor. It means each labor have produced 16 units of a commodity. We have taken the example of bottle. Okay, so each labor has produced 16 numbers of bottle each day. Okay, that is what is average product. Then we have seen marginal product. If a producer is making changes in means the variable factor, which are those variable factor? Labor and capital. If he is making changes in the labor input, if he is varying the quantity of the labor, instead of using 25 labor, if the producer is using 26 labor, then what will be the production? Then the total production will be increased by 440. So 440 minus 400, the earlier production, and 40 is the increase in the production. Means as we have seen, what is the concept of marginal? Means increasing one of the output, one of the input which is labor. Okay, and in that input factor the certain changes are made. Instead of 25, one labor is increased and the total production is taken out with the help of 26 labors. Okay, that we have seen. So that is what exactly is the concept of total product, average product and marginal product. So okay, now Actually, we will start here the law of variable proportion. Now, law of variable proportion, the name itself is suggesting you what is this law. Variable proportion. It means the proportion can be, in the proportion the changes can be made, means variable proportions when there are two inputs, labor, capital, land, labor and capital. But in short run, okay, this law works only in short run. That you need to remember, that law of variable proportion runs only in short run. So variable proportion, variable here it means factors of production. Now which factors of production? Where the proportionate changes can be made is what is variable proportion. In labor or in capital, the changes can be made. But considering our last example of labor changes, okay, instead of 25, 26 laborers were employed. So considering the same, continuing the same concept, we will come to the law of variable proportion. Now what this law says, what is the exactly concept of law of variable proportion? Here, statement of law given by economist Benham. What he says? As the proportion of one factor in combination of factors is increased, okay, after a point the average and marginal product of that factor will diminish. It is always diminishing marginal utility. In there what we have seen, if a person, if he eats more than his capacity, then at one point it is equal, after certain point it is diminishing. So what it is said here, as a proportion of one factor, and what one factor we are considering here? The labor. One input, one factor of production, input, one input, that is one factor in combination of factors. What are the other factors? Land and capital. Other factors is increased, after a point the average and marginal product of that factor will diminish. Okay, एक पॉइंट के बाद में आपकी यूटिलिटी या फिर उसका यूटिलाइजेशन it gets finished, it completes. So after that it works or it goes on diminishing level. So under this law it is assumed that only one factor of production, only one factor is variable while other factors are fixed. Okay, it takes place in short run only. In short run, production can be increased by using more units of variable factors. Okay, is that clear? One thing is very sure, only in short run the producer can make the changes in input. Okay, what is that? Only in short run law of variable proportion is acceptable, or law of variable proportion can be utilized. At the same time it runs only in short run, means short run time period के लिए the law of variable proportion is applicable, is increased by using more units of variable factors. It takes place in short run only. In short run production can be increased by using more units of variable factor, but at initial stages, okay, these changes can be made at the initial stages of the production process. If you are at the end process of the production, then you cannot make changes. Rather, if you make changes, then there will be some changes in your budget. And what this law says, making changes in the proportion at initial stages only, this is more beneficial for the producer. If he is making changes at the end of the production process, then that is not going to save the money of the producer. When only the money can be saved, when only the capital can be saved, only then it is when the production is at initial stage. Finally it will be increased proportionately. And if he needs or if he wants to make changes in inputs, then he has to make proportionate changes. When total output or a production of one of commodity is increased by adding units of variable inputs while the quantities of other input are constant, the increase in total production after some time period becomes smaller and smaller. The increase in total product, it means the increase in total quantity of goods and services produced after some time period becomes smaller and smaller. What these lines are saying, this line says that whatever the variable proportionate changes a producer wants to make in the input, that should be made at the initial stages of the production process. Those should not be at the end stage. And although the producer is making changes at the end end point or at the end stage of the production process, that is not going to be advantageous from the producer's point of view. So whatever the changes he wants to make in the inputs in the variable proportion, those should take place at the initial stage only. Now we will see the assumptions. What are the assumptions? There are only 4 assumptions for law of variable proportion. What the assumption number 1 says, all units of variable factor, that is labor, is homogeneous. Okay, here it should be means the labors which are employed for the production, those should be homogeneous. If he is using on all the 25 labors unskilled, then you have to he has to maintain that proportion of why it is said homogeneous? It means a same kind. Okay, there should not be change in their in their efficiency. Okay, all units of variable factor, that is labor, is homogeneous. Only one factor is varying and all other factors should remain constant. That is the basic fundamental of this law. Okay, then only one factor is varying and all other factors should remain constant. The scale of output remain unchanged. This is the one of the main assumption of this law. The scale of output remain unchanged. That is, production plant or a size of a plant and the efficiency of the firms remain unchanged. Means the size of the plant, okay, that remains unchanged. Production plant size and plant efficiency of the firms remain unchanged. Then what is the last point? The state of technology remains same. See, this is the very important assumption. These last 2 assumptions are very important. First is what? All units of variable factor, that is labor, is homogeneous. What second point says? Only one factor, and that factor is considered here is as a labor. Only one factor is varying and all other factors should remain constant. Okay, then the third, the scale of output remain unchanged, that is production plant size or a plant and efficiency of the firm remain unchanged. Okay, if the producer is running a firm, he is running a business unit, then what he has to think about? Okay, not only the inputs, means the variable factor, but at the same time he has to consider the complete unit which he is running, and in that the efficiency of the firm remain unchanged. There should not be any effect on the efficiency of the other persons. For example, the production process in the factory, in the manufacturing unit, the production is one unit. Production unit is one unit. Along with that, there are other units also. Commercial unit, accounts units. Okay, there are the different departments and divisions. So all these other changes means the firm efficiency of the firms remain unchanged. It means in other sectors, in other departments, producer cannot make changes. Okay, then state of technology remains same. Okay, this is one of the again main assumption, that whatever the technology he is utilizing for example, we have seen 2000 kgs, 5000 kgs. If he is producing 300 kgs of we will say 300 kgs of tires, 300 kgs of sugar he is producing. So in that 300 kgs or 3000 kgs, whatever the technology he has used, he cannot make any changes in that particular technology which he is adopting for the production process. So these are the assumptions. So in the very next lecture, we will see what is the schedule of the law of variable proportion and what is the graph of law of variable proportion. Thank you.